What's going on, guys? Welcome to Za King's Music Connection. Today I got my boy Mike Pierce with me. Now, I met Mike a little over a year ago, leading up to the Trioxin tribute. We were doing a cover band. It was pretty interesting stuff. I'm sure we'll talk about. It's great how music brings people together. I mean, Mike's an awesome dude. He's an awesome drummer. I'm so glad we connected there. We'll talk about some of his previous work, talk about some horror movies, and maybe a little debate about my boy over here. Tune in.
What the fuck is this?
How's it going, Mike?
It's going good, man. Thank you so much, Keith, for considering me relevant and important enough to be a part of Za King's Music Connection. When I was 13 or 14, I started playing drums. I was in a band called DWI. That morphed into a band called Passion Play. That morphed into a band called Tainted Heart. We were kind of like a hair band kind of deal. Played all over the place. Got a record deal in 1994 with Warner Brothers Records. But at the time, that was really weird because we were kind of like Poison meets Warrant meets Motley Crue, if that makes any sense. But then, once grunge hit, we had to turn our entire thing into Candlebox. So we did that, and then we turned our band into a name called Angry Sun. And everyone thought, why are you mad at your dads? It's Angry Sun, like S-U-N, not S-O-N. And the funny thing was, in 1995 or 6, I drew up one of the sons, the tribal sons, and it came up in Godsmack's first album. And I thought to myself, man, I missed the boat on that one. Anyway, then I went into a band called the Ditch Dogs. And the Ditch Dogs were really cool, but it was like Black Sabbath and Leonard Skinner had an orgy, and we popped out. One of the reasons I left that band was after 7 months, we were jamming, playing, and I said something about Vinnie Paul, about Pantera, and the guitar player goes, Vinnie Paul sucks. And I just kind of it's like, dude, if you don't appreciate Vinnie Paul, then you're a fucking idiot. So I kind of walked away from that band. They wanted to go more southern, not down the state or down the coast, but it was more like they wanted to go more like something okay, great. Not my fucking thing. Took 2 years off, went to school, tried to be a teacher, which I am. I know it's kind of weird that they allow me around kids. But anyway, found out there was a band looking for a drummer called Colder Thy Kiss. And Colder Thy Kiss had this guy, Mike Forte, who was in another band called Angelsin. So I was playing one night, jamming. I do this a lot, because that's what drummers do. All of a sudden, these three guys come in. They're looking at me like they want to fight. I'm like, shit. I'm going to get my ass kicked here. I didn't piss any of these guys off. I don't even know who the fuck they are. So we took a break, and the three guys come up to the drums, to the drum riser thing, whatever, And they said to me, hey, man, we heard about you through Mike Forte. And I thought to myself, dude, is that a good thing or a bad thing? They said, we're in Angelsin, and we want you to come jam with us if you can. I said, yeah, I would love to. I said, I've heard of Angelsin. I knew about Mike Hideous. Ralph was the singer in Angelsin, and he played with Mike Hideous and Empire Hideous, and those guys came up to me, and we just started talking, and we hit it off right away. We all loved horror movies. We all loved wrestling, not with each other. but we all loved like pro wrestling, you know, horror movies, zombie movies, all kinds of crazy shit. And we just hit it off. And before I knew it, I was in the band. I loved playing with Angelsin. The first show we played was at QXT's. It was at the end of 1999. It was called Rock to the Top. And it was so funny. I'll never forget walking into QXT's. And we were all like in vinyl, fishnet, you know, the eye makeup, this, that, and the other thing. And it was like every genre of music you could imagine. It was like the country chicks who were trying to be like Kitty. And then it was like the hardcore guys trying to be like Hatebreed. And then it was like the metal guys trying to be like Slayer. And then it was like the alternative guys trying to be like Nirvana meets, I don't know, Puddle of Mud, if you will. So it was like kind of like, everybody was like kind of like fucking looking at each other. We played the show. I remember it was one of the greatest shows I ever played in my life. I had blood, powder, makeup, and everything running into my eyes. All fake blood, this, that, and the other thing. And I remember there was a big gate in front of QXT's where we played. And Jason Trioxin and Ralph were like rattling the fucking cages. And they were punching things, and like it was just like chaos. And I remember thinking to myself, man, this is the band that I want to be in. I love this band because I love the fucking madness. I love the fucking insanity. Ralph and Jason used to come over to my drum set, and I remember Ralph used to just like look at me, go back and forth. He used to hit my cymbals with his fists. And the funny thing was, he knew. He goes, Pierce, you know, I don't want to fuck your cymbals up. I go, yeah, because you're going to have to fucking pay for them. But Sin was fucking awesome. And so was Carlos, because the two of them always came over to my drum set. They always made it a point to come over to my drum set and fucking play like this. I mean, I know that doesn't translate very well into the phone, but you know, it was just like such a cool vibe. And I remember Carlos always came up to me like, smoke and fucking blood and powder and all kinds of crazy shit, and Jesus statues with blood thrown all over them and stuff. So yeah. And after that, I took a break from music because I was going to be a teacher. And then I wound up in a cover band in 2003 because that's when we went into the Iraq War. There was a drummer who was playing with a cover band of a friend that I knew. He was in the, what's that thing? The reserves. He got called in. I get called. He said, Mike, can you play drums for us? I said, yeah, no problem. Worst fucking thing I ever was a part of. I fucking hate being in a cover band. I will never be. Nothing against cover bands. Hey, you guys are great. You guys are doing a great job. Not for me. I remember playing, you know, let me do this again. I said, dude, you're so good! No, I'm not. I'm playing Bon Jovi and fucking Blink-182 covers and Green Day and Hoobastank and all these bands. It sucked. It drove me fucking nuts. Didn't like it. No, like Mr. Horse from Ren and Stimpy. No, sir. Didn't like it. The last time I played on stage, the singer for the cover band was smoking cigarettes a lot, which I have nothing against that. But the guy goes down, and I thought, oh, okay, we're doing Linkin Park, you know. He kneels down, and I think, oh, maybe he's like trying to play to the crowd. You know, it's Fatso Fogarty's in fucking North Arlington. Bass player looks at me, he goes, I go, what's up? Fucking, the singer, his lung collapsed. That's why he went on the floor. Next thing I know, the ambulance is coming in, they're taking him out. So, yeah, I don't give a fuck about cover bands. I'm sick of them. To me, bring the original scene back. There are a lot of cooler bands that need the exposure. There are a lot of cooler bands that need, they basically need to be recognized, and not like these girls with the fucking cherry drinks going, laughing with like, oh, it's that song by Lit. Oh, that's the song by Pearl Jam that I think is wonderful. We're gonna call Orkin. Bring the original scene back. That's when it was fucking cool. Like I said, I started playing drums years ago. Originally, I wanted to play guitar, but I'm too moronic, and I can't do this. Like, I can't do, like this, that, and the other thing. Tried to play bass. I own a bass. It's sitting in a storage unit for like fucking 2 years. I can sing a little bit. But other than that, my main thing is drums. If I can sing, if I'm allowed to sing, I could try. But I sing from my throat, which is stupid because I should sing from my stomach. But I think my stomach is too big, so I can't fucking sing that much. Very simple. Eric Carr and Tommy Lee. Eric Carr, in my opinion, doesn't get enough accolades. He helped Kiss, go into the 80s. Peter Criss was like this big band jazz guy. Eric Carr came from a more rock stance. Led Zeppelin, Humble Pie, The Who, guys like that. Or bands like that, I'm sorry. And once they came into themselves after the 80s, Eric Carr helped Kiss get through the 80s, because if you listen to any of those albums, from Creatures of the Night, The Elder, whatever. Creatures of the Night, Lick It Up, Animalize, Asylum, Crazy Nights, fucking Hot in the Shade, Revenge, he was already dead by that point. But all those albums, the drums are so heavy. Like, if it wasn't for Eric Carr's drumming and Paul Stanley's songwriting, Kiss, we wouldn't even be talking about Kiss today. And I'm going to say this, and I'm sure people are going to agree with me on this. I think Kiss needs to go fuck themselves at this point, because they're doing this farewell tour. Okay, great, grand, fucking wonderful. But they go on this fucking press conference. Oh, we're going to celebrate the history of the band. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Okay, well, why don't you take fucking 2 minutes on your big, giant fucking screens and say, hey, there's one guy that was in this band that helped us. It's Eric Carr. Let the crowd cheer, but they don't do that. So, as far as I'm concerned, Kiss was born in 1973 and they died in 2000. Fuck them at this point. The other guy, if there's any drummer out there who wants to contend with me, it's fucking Tommy Lee. The fucking guy is amazing. You listen to the Motley Crue albums, you listen to any of the Motley albums, he's insane on the drums. Fucking live, studio, the guy, you can't touch him. Not even about like the sticks and tricks, they do all this stuff and, great. The guy's a fucking monster. I remember in 1990, I saw them on the Dr. Feelgood tour, and I remember he came across the arena, and he did everything from Zeppelin to AC/DC and did his own thing, and it was just amazing. When I was 10, I remember seeing the video for After Love, Looks to Kill. Yeah, sorry, brain fart. Old. And I just remember him, like, you know, like he had like this 5-piece kit, and he just was catching the cymbals and the arms and the spinning. I'm like, and I remember before that, there was a show on USA Network called Night Flight, and before that, they played Livewire, and I remember being scared at like 10 years old, because I think it was like 1985, 84, and Mick Mars was spitting blood. He's like, this fucking guy is scary. And Mickey Six has an upside down cross, and he's like, yeah, come on, motherfucker. So that scared the shit out of me. And any bands that scared the fuck out of me, or shit, or fuck, I admire those bands, because if you can scare the hell out of me, then you're a good fucking band. So, going back, Eric Carr, Tommy Lee. Anyone wants to argue with me about that, we can go. Everything I've done, whether it was on a local level, a state level, I never got to the national level. Everything I've done, I'm proud of. Whether it was playing in front of 19 people at Coney Island High in the middle of New York City on a Wednesday night, whether it was playing in front of 4,000 people at the Birch Hill nightclub opening up for Blue Oyster Cult, I was just really, really happy to be a part of the scene, to meet people, to talk to people. I was one of those kids who sat by myself at lunch. Nobody liked me, and nobody likes me now, which is great. Nobody liked me at that point, and then I did this talent show on May 30th, 1990. Yeah, I'm like Rain Man. That's a whole nother story. And I remember playing drums, and we did Wild Thing by Sam Kinison. And after that, all the seniors, I was a sophomore at the time. I was 15 years old. I was like this tall. I had a mullet. And the next day I remember walking through the hallways, and I was like, "Hey, drummer boy! Hey, drummer! Look, that's a drummer man!" Like a week ago, you guys were yanking my underwear up my ass. Okay, cool. So once I did that, I realized that it was very simple to just not even play drums, just to walk with confidence. And that helped me a lot, like I walked through life at that point. I went into high school, my junior year, because my other high school closed and blah, blah, blah. Walked into high school like, yeah, okay, fuck you. I play drums. I can do what I want. You can shut your mouth. And that's the end of it. So that's basically my greatest accomplishment, was just doing everything in this scene, seeing how the scene changed from 1990 to 2019. It was just really cool, just experiencing everything, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I can't wait till my girls are a little bit older so I could tell them the story myself. It meant a lot. Like I said before, when I was going from Colder Thy Kiss into Angelsin, me and Jason, we gelled a lot. We both loved to watch the movie The Outsiders. We loved pro wrestling. We loved the same kind of music. I mean, I was a big, huge Kiss fan, and he was a big, huge Misfits fan, and they both, wore makeup and big boots and, tight pants. And, I'll never forget Jason. He was a good guy. I'll never forget when my daughter was born, I was in the hospital. You know, I probably hadn't slept in like 3 days. Once my daughter was born, I was holding her. And then I gave my daughter to the nurse, you know, a couple, maybe 25 minutes afterwards. My phone started going off. And it said Jason Trioxin. And I heard that voice that I love so much. He goes, Pierce! He goes, what's up, kid? He goes, congratulations, man. I can't fucking believe it, kid. He was the first one who called me after my daughter was born. The last time I saw him was 2 years before he passed. And we went out to a diner. The Gotham Diner of all places. We were joking about Batman. On Route 4. And, you know, me and him talked just about everything, just about life, about touring, about everything. And I'll never forget the last thing he said to me. He parked his car, like on that side of the fucking parking lot, and it was this big truck, and it said, The Ride of Frankenstein. And, you know, we had a cigarette together, and I went to go shake his hand, and he hugged me. And he basically said, he did a perfect Chris Farley. He goes, brothers don't shake hands, brothers gotta hug. I'm like, you fucking crazy fuck. But yeah, it meant a lot to me to be a part of that show. It was really cool because when we were all up there playing, when his mom came to the front of the stage, it just meant a lot to me that, I couldn't imagine being his mom and losing a son, before the age of 40. And the fact that his mom was up at the front of the stage and, we were all playing and, his mom was like there just having a good time. And Mike Forte was there and Carlos was there. It felt really good. I certainly hope not. I mean, I like you guys. We had a great fucking time. Oh, considering all the stuff that was thrown at us. Dude, totally dig Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. I would love to jam with you guys again. Za King, you're kind of a good guitar player. The whole Zakk Wylde, the whole, Guns N' Roses, the whole Jason thing. You're not my style with that horror stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just totally kidding. I hope not. I would love to continue this, whether it's for Jason or whether it's for the three of us to just jam good songs and have a good time and have a barbecue. Punk rock shaft. But I mean, just like, good music, good jams. I certainly hope that this is not the end of the Shrimp Shack Shooters, Captain Geach, whoever's Captain Geach is going to be, whether it's Johnny Knollwood or, Keith. But, yeah, I don't ever want this to end. It's totally cool for me. It made me feel really good in terms of playing, whether, like I said, whether it was for a tribute show, whether it was for a backyard party, whether it was for just to sit in a garage and play again. Made me feel really cool. So I really hope this is not the end.
No more money for the hungry powers, what we feed. Anytime.
I think I still have the shirt. If I do, which I'm pretty sure I do, It's probably still in my snare case with my snare drum on top of it. So I don't know if it stinks like shit. I have no clue. I probably do have the shirt in my snare case. I don't know if I want to take it out, and if I do, I'm going to take it, throw it in the garbage. I wasn't crazy about that. You guys all know that. I would just rather wear a t-shirt and, you know, stuff like that. I mean, if you can get like a sailor suit for a big fat guy, then totally cool. Let's do Captain Geach and the fat drummer. We can do that. But yeah, I probably do have it. It's still, I haven't taken it out of the goddamn snare case yet. Probably smells like shit. It's probably loaded with fucking mildew. You know, so hopefully my snare drum is still in good shape. Sock King, you killed me on this question. Okay, just gonna be totally honest with you. I actually had to make a list. Okay, now, first of all, I'm only doing this up to part 8, the Paramount series, because I mean, Jason Goes to Hell, greatest poster, greatest graphic ever with the snake coming out of the eyes. Fucking shitty, horrible movie. It's garbage. Jason X, fuck that. Jason versus Freddy, yeah, great. So I'm just going to do the Paramount series, okay? So we're going to start with number 8, going backwards. Part 7, The New Blood. Great movie. You know, the murders were great. The brutality was awesome. But the thing that pissed me off was the end. You know, Jason's at the bottom of Crystal Lake. He comes up. He, you know, once again. And then this broad, who nobody even knows who the hell she is, her father comes up and grabs Jason by the legs. Really? You're going to grab Jason by the legs and he just goes down? Like a fucking Times Square hooker? What are you kidding me? Okay, so that's my list. Part 7, The New Blood. Fuck you. We're gonna go to number 7 now. Jason Takes Manhattan. It was great to see Jason out of the woods. You know, he jumped on the boat. He wound up in Manhattan on the docks. Comes up, you know, he fucks with the punks. Great. I think at this point they jumped the shark. It was almost like, you know, Jason Goes to Newark. I think that would have been a better movie if Jason went to Newark and like started fucking with people. But Jason's standing up and, you know, fucking looking around Times Square. Why didn't he just kill everybody there? Okay. We move on. Number 6. The first Friday the 13th. Great movie. Everyone's in the woods. Everyone's scared. Everybody's getting fucked up. The lights go out. The power goes out. Great swerve at the end with Mrs. Voorhees. You know, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday. Great. Awesome. There was no Jason. It was like a whole movie, which I respect the shit out of it. But it was a whole movie, and then, you know, it was just Jason's mom getting her fucking head cut off. We move on. Number 5. Friday the 13th, Part 3. Jason now gets his hockey mask. The murders are beautiful. They're great. Everyone, I mean, the one girl gets a fucking arrow in her eye. She dies. The characters, though, as cheesy and shitty as they were, in my opinion, they were the worst characters. Worse than Crispin Glover dancing in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. You had a guy named Shelley who was jumping around like an idiot. Great, grand, wonderful. Part 3, the end, like, okay. If I was a teenager back in 1983, but I wasn't, I was like 7, do the math. I would have just watched the end of that movie, because when Jason's mask came up and he was hung and everything, and he, like, you know, he's like, I got no teeth, you fucker. Great. Rest of the movie, shit. End of the movie, awesome. Number 4. Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives. You can't touch this one. Jason had the best murders. He had, I mean, it opens up with Arnold Horshack. Arnold Horshack. Oh, you fuck! Jason fucking kills him in the beginning. Greatest thing ever. Plus, it continues from Tommy Jarvis. Going from Part 4, Part 5, Part 6. They actually kept continuity within the movie, which, in my opinion, is awesome. One of the greatest lines of that movie was when Tommy Jarvis says Jason belongs in hell, and I'm going to make sure he gets there. And the fact that they drowned Jason in Camp Crystal Lake, and Alice Cooper did the fucking soundtrack. Hello? Greatest fucking soundtrack movie ever. Yet I digress. This might not be very popular with people. Number 3. Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Jason was not in this movie. Jason was in the beginning, in the dreams. Wait, did I just fuck that up? Yeah, I probably did. Anyway. Either way, I love the fact that Dudley from Different Strokes was in it. And the guy Roy, who played Jason, because there was no real Jason in the movie. I love the fact that it took place in a halfway mental asylum house. And I loved the beginning when Roy, you don't know that Roy's son is the big fat kid, and he goes, here Cliff, I don't want you to touch this, and he fucking hits it with an axe, and he goes, okay Cliff, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and he and Cliff right in the back of the head. The brutality of this movie, in my opinion, was amazing. It didn't take away from the fact that Jason wasn't in it, because, you know, you had this guy with a hockey mask and blah blah blah, but just the murders themselves, in my opinion, were amazing. You know, duty up a duty, and a fucking road flare right in the mouth goes right behind the guy's head. You know, the girl, you know, when she's hanging out with the guy doing coke, and fucking axe right in her stomach, and she falls down. The greatest thing too was when the white trash that lives around there, and he's like, "Mama, you heard me, Mama!" And he's driving around, and all of a sudden you just, psh, and his head comes flying off, and the white trash mother goes, "Are you dumb? Are you dumb?" And his head comes flying through the fucking window, and then it went in the soup, and then, yet I digress. Okay, number 2. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This one is the quintessential 80s slasher film. Okay? I'm not a pervert, but you have your typical 80s slasher film. Asses, tits, murder, dog, death, Corey Feldman. Yet I say more. You know, the fact that Corey Feldman goes in, like when you know Jason's going after everybody, and Corey Feldman starts shaving his head, and then he comes down and he goes, "Jason, Jason," and Jason looks, and you hear that, and you could tell like Jason's like a little bit fucked up. You know, maybe he drank with the Crispin Glover, or maybe he drank with, you know, Teddy. Who knows? But he looks, and then you hear, oh! And that shit cuts off, and he's like, ah. Yeah. A little bit dopey. Kind of like, if you watch the movie Back, when Tommy Jarvis shows the hitchhiker his masks, and he goes, it's kind of like the same thing. I think it was Tom Savini who did everything. But quintessential, great fucking movie. Now, my number one. If anyone wants to argue with me, fine. Friday the 13th, Part 2. That is my favorite Friday the 13th movie ever. Why? Jason didn't have a hockey mask yet. Jason, it was kind of like the shit that was Part 3 and the build-up that was Part 1. Part 2, you have a fucking lunatic in coveralls with a flannel shirt on and a potato sack hood, and he goes after with a pitchfork, with a pickaxe, and then the end of that movie. I don't give a shit what anyone wants to say. Za King, you want to talk with me? We will talk, my friend. They walk in, they fight, and there's Jason's mother's head. It doesn't get any better than that. He worships his mother's head because, according to legend, he saw his mother decapitated in Part 1. And when he came out, he puts a shrine up to his mother. His mother's head's there. It's all fucking rotted. Candles, everything. So, yes, yet I digress. Part 2, greatest Friday the 13th movie ever made. That people may or may not know about me. Well, number one, my last name really isn't Pierce. My last name is Parishchak. I know, terrible. When I was a kid, I was Michael Parishchak, and everyone pronounced my name all fucked up. So everyone called me Porshak. Again, the Welcome Back Cotter jokes. So I thought to myself when I started playing drums, I said, let me figure out a name that's not Parishchak. Let me figure out something that's like kind of cool. And at the time, I was piercing people's ears. I was doing ears, noses. I think I did a lip once. And I remember walking into a party at 16 years old in 1991. And I remember hearing people talking. Oh, this Pierce guy's here. This Mike Pierce guy. This Mike Pierce is here. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Mike Pierce, easy, easy to sign. To sign autographs. Cool, no problem. So, hence Mike Pierce. So yeah, my last name really isn't Pierce. It's Parishchak. Don't spread it out there. Number 2, I am the biggest fucking dork you guys could ever imagine. I collect action figures. I love superheroes. I love Star Wars. I love horror movies. If you make a fucking doll out of anything, I will collect it because I'm that much of a fucking loser. Number 3, believe it or not, I am a very educated moron. I have a master's degree in teaching. I have 30 credits above that. I have a bachelor's degree in fine arts. I have my permanent teaching certification in the state of New Jersey. So I'm like a big dork when it comes to like education, just to make sure that my life is cool. Number 4. You guys are gonna love this one. I have 2 little girls who I love deeply. I know how to do nails. I know how to do hair and braiding. I know how to do makeup because when I was young and pretty in my old hair bands, I used to have really long hair. I used to have hair down to here. Like, I look like Sebastian Bach, except not as skinny and coked out. But anyway, so I know how to like braid my daughter's hair. You know, I love my kids to death. I would do anything for them. I would never, ever, 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 ever scare the shit out of them in terms of, you know, being like a crazy dad. You know, my kids, they love this. They call this Michael Myers. They call this Clown Guy. And they call this Jason. And then the skull is called Hello. That's what my daughter's named it. So, yeah, that's number 4. And number 5, wow. I'm going to just kind of come out with it at this point. I am the most sensitive, emotional piece of shit that anyone could imagine. I wear my heart on my sleeve like most drummers do. I could cry in a heartbeat. You know, my dog died 2-3 months ago on April 20th, and if I still smoked weed, I would fucking smoke a joint for him. I was on the floor crying with him, and when I brought him to the vet place, you know, to put him down, you know, the nurses were kind of looking at me, and my good friend Rose was there, and you know, I was just, you know, tears were falling on him, like, oh no, tears are falling. And my dog, you know, being the pain in the ass that he was, he just goes like this. Like he didn't want my tears on him, you know? So yeah, I'm an emotional fuck. So those are the 5 things that I'm gonna come out with.
You're so blind to the things I see. Your prayers will be scored and
My drink of choice, well, it's no secret that I love to party. It's no secret that I, you know, I have to uphold this kind of thing. Like, well, you're a drummer, you're Mike Pierce, you have this name. You know, Ox said it perfectly at Za King's party last year. He goes, the best Mike Pierce story I ever remember was, I'm talking to Mike Pierce, and he goes, ugh, throws up all over the floor. I go, dude, you all right? He goes, yeah, I got to get another beer. Yet I digress. If someone had a gun to my head and asked me what, if you could have one drink for the rest of your life, what would it be? Very simple. Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola. But I have to modify that. I like Jack Daniels Green Label. To me, it goes down a little bit smoother. However, after like 7 or 8 of them, it doesn't matter what color see? It doesn't matter what color the label is. It just kind of goes down the same. And Diet Coke is a lot better, even though there's like nitrates and all that shit in it. But, you know, yeah, Green Label Jack and Diet Coke. Yeah, I'm on. You know, I could be one of those guys who's, you know, a wrestling purist and say, well, you know, it's Hogan, Flair, you know, Goldberg, fucking whoever. If I had 4 guys to choose, I would choose the unsung heroes of professional wrestling. My first choice would be Chris Jericho. Okay, he would be the first guy on there. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I'll tell you this straight up. The guy has wrestled in Mexico, Japan, ECW, WCW, WWE. Now he's in AEW. The guy has never, ever been injured. Never. Think about it. When was the guy ever injured? And he fought everybody from fucking Sabu to fucking Goldberg, all these guys. Never injured anyone else. Incredible worker, incredible on the microphone, incredible in the ring, incredible as a stature. Jericho. Oh, and let's not forget, he has the band Fozzy. He jams out with fucking Zakk Wylde. He has he has time on Octane. The guy has fucking done it all. Number 1. Number 2. A lot of people forget about this guy, Jake the Snake Roberts. Never had a great physique. Never had gigantic 44-inch pythons, my brother. But the guy could talk. When the guy spoke, you were fucking scared. When he for Christ's sake, he had a 30-foot python named Damien. Then Earthquake jumped on Damien, killed Damien, which is a bunch of pantyhose and meat, because they wanted blood to come out. I know the whole story. I know a shoot interview and all that stuff. So who comes back out? Lucifer, Damien's big brother. Wait, then it gets better. Then we're going to go, okay, the crowd loves Jake the Snake. Let's give him a new snake. Comes out with a fucking King Cobra. No name. Bites Macho Man on the bicep. And then after that, and Jake's hitting him on the head. You can look this up. It's called Tuesday. Was it Tuesday in Texas? No, it was before Tuesday in Texas. It was Wrestling Superstars in 1991. Jake's hitting the Cobra on the head. And then there's the greatest shot in the world of Jake leaning on the ring and looking at the Cobra and laughing at it and talking to it. And the Cobra's like this. Any white guy who could do that, who's not doing like the Jerky Boys, okay, that's number 2. Number 3. This was a tough one. It was between Randy Macho Man Savage and Roddy Piper. Had to go with Piper, and I'll tell you why. Because there was one thing that was better than Macho Man. Macho Man could talk, he could do this. Piper's Pit. End of discussion. Roddy Piper could talk. The fact that he had people throwing marbles at his head, throwing bottles of piss at him, the cops in New York City at WrestleMania 1, he had to be escorted in and out, and the cops left him and Paul Orndorff because they thought that the fans were going to rush Madison Square Garden and fucking kill him. Smashed a coconut into Jimmy Snuka's head. Again, my wrestling fans out there, Piper's number 3. Now, my number 4 was a tough one. There is no good wrestler without a good manager. Number 4, who would be out there looking at the sky. Bobby, the motherfucking Brain Heenan. You could take a broom and give it to Bobby the Brain Heenan, and he would make that broom the biggest superstar in the world. He was a great manager, great talker, primetime wrestling with Gorilla Monsoon. My God, you cannot touch Bobby the Brain Heenan as a manager. Many have tried, many have failed. But one of the greatest managers, the greatest manager ever to grace outside of the ring, behind the camera, inside the ring. The guy could take bumps. The guy could flip over the turnbuckles. The crowd hated him, yet he was the funniest guy in the world. So yeah, Jericho, Jake the Snake Roberts, Roddy Piper, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
The Brain. You don't hear that one too often. That's a good one. Thanks so much for hanging out, man. Sharing some history, sharing some cool stories. Awesome, man. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
And all that precious time slipped